So I put it in here. And you can see that all the labels now change. And that is because if you set a theme here,
Fucking hell, brother.
Here, then
Hell.
all the components that are below this node will also use this theme, unless they have their own
Souffle encore
theme.
plus dans le micro pour voir.
But it's still something that we need to set up for each node and that we can forget. But there's a third way in which we can do this.
Oh, ça va être long.
This is in the project settings. So we go to project.
C'est quoi, mais moi, x2
We
là,
need to enable
x5.
advanced settings for this. And then we can go down here and find GUI theme. And then we have a setting custom in which we can load our theme. This needs a restart of the editor, so we press save and restart.
Ouais,
And now you
ok.
can see that our labels use the new theme. So now our labels fit the game a bit better, but still I don't like this panel container. So how about we add a wooden border around this? We can do this also in the theme, but if we look down here, there's not really a panel container visible. In this case, we can add a new type using this plus button here. So we click on there, we type panel container, because that is the one we want to change. And if you look at the panel container, there's really only one setting that we can change, which is the panel. We click the plus button here, and then we can say how the panel should be rendered. And we have a few options here. We have a stylebox empty, a stylebox texture, a stylebox flat, and a stylebox line. So empty is what it says. It's just rendering nothing, which is not what we want. We have the stylebox flat, which renders a flat color, similar to how it's done right now, because right now it's using a stylebox flat. And we have stylebox line, which renders a line, which we don't need here. It's more a thing if you have separators. So what we want to use is stylebox texture. And then we can click on it, and now we can see a preview up here how it would look like. So first thing is we need a texture. I have created a few textures here, so we take this frame small thing and we put it in here, and now we have a preview. Now we see it's a wooden frame, but it renders kind of strangely here on the sides, and that is because it just takes this texture and it stretches it. But what I want is to keep the borders unstretched and just stretch this inner part. And we can do this by setting the texture margins here. So if I set the texture margin here to 24 pixels on each side, you can see how it now only stretches the inner part. So we leave a margin of 24 pixels on all sides which are not stretched, and only the inner part gets stretched. We have updated our theme, but our container does not update. And the reason is that UI components don't actively monitor if the theme changes. You need to reload.
Presque sûr
what we can do is we go to scene, reload saved scene, and you can see it has updated.
Il y a un objet pour ça, pour le coup.
Okay. Let's say we want to show the player some kind of mission dialog where they can see a mission and then they can accept it or decline it. How would we do that? Well, we can create a second panel container and set it up there. So let's add another panel container and move it somewhere here. And then we add some label for the text. So label, so maybe we call this title, and mission, and we duplicate it and we make this
Holy,
text.
that font.
This should be the text. And for the text, I will just use some dummy text. And maybe we set this to wrap, because right now it's putting all of the text in one line and we want to automatically wrap it. So there's an auto wrap setting here and we want to wrap on every word. So we use that. But it still looks not right because they seem to render on top of each other, which is not what we want. We want to stack them. We want to have the title up here and then we want to have the text below. And we can also do this with a container. There's a thing called a VBox container, a vertical box, VBox. A container that arranges its child controls vertically, which is exactly what we want. So we take a VBox container, we put it into panel container, and then we put our labels inside of this VBox container. And now you can see the mission is up here and the text is up there. And we can nicely resize this. And you can see that the text is automatically flowing around here, so it looks nice. Good. However, I would like to make a few changes. First off, I think this border should be bigger. So how can I make that? I have already set up how a panel container should look. So if I change this border to make it bigger, then this border would also get bigger, and we don't want that. And we can do this by adding a variant to our theme. So we click on our theme and we click the plus button, and we want to make a custom type or a custom variant for a panel container. So we say maybe big panel container. Don't be confused that this is now empty. You can still click add type, and we have now made a custom type, which currently is not based on any other component. But if we go to this icon here, we can say which should be the base type, and we say this should be some kind of panel container. So we select the panel container here, and now it knows it is a panel container. Now we can go here and we see we now have the panel setting. We add the stylebox texture, click on the stylebox texture, and we change the texture to frame big. And again, we want to set the margin, so this time it's a bit bigger, so we use 48. So now we need to tell this panel container that it should use our variant. And we can do this by going to theme, type variation, big panel container. And it uses the big border. And this is how you can make variations of controls in your theme. We want to make another variation for this mission. I want this to be bigger than the rest of the text. And we already know how to do this. So we go to our theme and we add another variation. And we name this maybe header. And you can see Godot has some variations for labels already, which are called header large, header medium, header small. So we take this header large. And then we can change the font size for this header large maybe to 48. Now we can say to this title in theme, type variation, header large. And now we get a large header. And we also want to have this centered, so we go to horizontal alignment and say this should be centered. Now we want to add 2 buttons which allow the user to accept the mission or to decline the mission. So we add a button and we put this in our VBox container, and maybe we call this OK. And we make a second button,
the buttons.
Cancel button, and the other one we call
My
OK button.
You're gonna need HBox now.
So now we have these, but you can see they are still using the default look, and we don't want that. We want to have nice looking buttons. So we go back to our theme. We already know how this works. We can use this eyedropper here, and there's a button. You can also use the plus on this side. It works the same way, but this is a bit bigger. Okay, so the buttons, they also have a font. So we change this to our chalk font, and we also change the font size to 32. And now we look at the style boxes. And you can see buttons have quite a few of them for each state of the button. It could be in a normal state, like this button. It could be in hover state when I move the mouse over. It could be pressed when I click it, and so on. And we need to change the style boxes for each of them. So let's start with the disabled. Again, we click the plus, change it to style box texture. Then I have already made a lot of buttons here. We change the texture margins. And we're done with this one. And then we continue. Okay, I have set up everything, and again we need to reload our scene so it picks up the changes. First we may want to save it, so reload our scene. And now you can see that we have the buttons with the new styles. This looks a lot nicer. Now we want to lay out the buttons in a horizontal way. And just like there's a VBox container, there's also an HBox container which can do this.
I knew it.
So we use an HBox container.
The HBox brother.
Stripe controls horizontally, which is exactly what we want. We put it here, and we put all our buttons into this HBox container. Maybe make this a bit bigger, so we have a bit of room to work with. Okay. Now I would like that these buttons have the same size. Because right now the OK button, it has a lot smaller size than the cancel button. And the reason for this is, again, this container asks its child nodes, how big do you want to be? And the OK button says, you know, I just have this OK in there. I'm OK with this small size. While the cancel button says, you know, I have this big cancel thing. I need more size. So how can we tell this OK button that it should use more size, that it should not just take its minimum size? We can do this in the layout settings. And this is the part that confuses a lot of people because it's not really straightforward, but we're going to take it extra slow and explain how it works. So we're having the OK button selected. We go to layout, container sizing, and then we can see some options. And there's 2 options that we can check. We can have this expand flag, turn on and off, and we can set some other behavior, which we will explain shortly. With this expand flag, you can change how much space the control requests from its parent container. Right now it is unchecked, and the button will only request as much space as it needs to render its OK plus the little border around it. If I turn it on, the button says to the HBox container, you know what, I need only this OK thing, but if you have more space, then I would like to have it. And if we look at the HBox container, you can see this is all the space that the HBox container right now has. The OK button says, I would like to have as much space as you can give me. So what the HBox container now does is it's asking the cancel button, how much space do you need? And the cancel button says, I need this little bit of space to render my cancel. And then it looks, okay, I have this much space to give. I removed the space for the cancel button, so I give the rest to the OK button. And now the OK button gets bigger, which is nice, but we're still not having the same width.
Yeah,
so
you do the same with the cancel button.
Tell the cancel button to also request a lot of space. So we get to layout, container sizing, and we also say expand. So now the HBox container has 2 children, and they are telling him, okay, give me all the space that you can spare. So what does the HBox container now do? Well, it looks at how much space it has, and then it gives it evenly to all its child nodes. And now the buttons have the same size. But what if you want to have different sizes for each of these buttons? So maybe this OK button should get 1/4 of the size, and the cancel button should get 3/4 of the size.
Aspect ratio.
We can do this with the stretch ratio setting that you can see down here. And it works like this. The container will look at all the controls that say, I want to expand. And then it will sum up all the stretch ratios of these controls. So right now, the OK button has a stretch ratio of 1, and the cancel button has also a stretch ratio of 1. So it will sum these up, and you get 2. And then it will assign each control a fraction of the space, which is their stretch ratio divided by the sum. So OK button has a stretch ratio of 1 divided by the sum, which is 2. So it gets 1 divided by 2, it gets half the space. And the cancel also gets 1 divided by 2, which is half the space. If we want to give this 1/4 and this 3/4, then the sum of these stretch ratios needs to be 4 because we want to give quarters, right? So divided by 4. So we set the stretch ratio here to 3, and we get the correct result. Again, all the stretch ratios are added. So OK button has 1, cancel button has 3. Sum of this is 1 plus 3 is 4. So we have 4. And now the OK button gets 1 divided by 4, which is 1/4, and the cancel button gets 3 divided by 4, which is 3/4. And we maybe make another example. Let's say the OK button should have 2/3 and the cancel button has 1/3. How do we do that? Well, again, we want thirds, so the sum needs to be 3. So we give the cancel button 1, and we give the OK button 2. And now the OK button has 2 divided by the sum, which is 3, so 2/3, and the cancel button has 1 divided by 3, which is 1/3. So now we know how this expand flag works. So what is this fill thing? Well, this fill thing, it only works if you have this expand flag ticked. To show it better, I will temporarily hide this cancel button, and we only work with the OK button. So right now it is set to fill. And fill means make me as big as all the space that I have requested. And say you want to have this button in the middle. Well, you can change it to shrink center. So the button will still request all the space because what it requests is decided by this expand flag. So if expand is off, it will only request the minimum size. If it's on, it will request all the size it can get. And this flag controls how the button uses the size it has gotten, right? So the container says, okay, fine, you can have all of this space. And now the button says, okay, I take all of the space, but what do I do with it? Do I fill it out? Or do I shrink myself and go to the center? Or do I shrink myself and go to the beginning? Or do I shrink myself and go to the end? But if you don't have this expand flag set, then the container will only give this button as much space as it needs. So it says, okay, I only need as much space as this. This is all the space we have. And now I can set whatever I want here. Because I only have this tiny bit of space, it doesn't really matter what I set here because everything will look the same. And this is what confuses people because it says fill here, but if you just do fill, it will not fill this space, right? So again, this expand flag says, how much space do I want? And this other flag says, what do I do with the space that I got? Okay, so let's add the cancel button again. What I want now is that this button and the cancel button, they have the same size. We already know how to do that. So we set both to expand and we give them the same stretch ratio. So now everyone has 1, but I want them to be centered. How can I do that? There's a few ways in which I could try this. So there is, for example, a center container. Center. So we move it up here and
what do you mean centered?
The HBox container inside of the center container. So see, this is the center container, and now this is the HBox container, and now they're the buttons. So they're now centered, but they don't have the same size anymore. So why is that? Well, the reason for this is that the center container only gives its child nodes as much space as they need. So you see, while this HBox container is inside of the center container, I don't even have an option to expand. The center container does not support it. So the HBox container only gets as much size as its child nodes need. So there's no space to expand because the center container will not give the HBox container enough space. So this is not working. Let's move it up here and delete the center container because that is not working. There's another trick which we can use to make this work, and this is a spacer control. And the spacer control is really just an empty control. So you use the control node, which will render nothing. And now we set this control to expand. Layout, container sizing, expand. And now you can see that it gets 1/3 of the space because it's expand and it has a stretch ratio of 1. And we have 3 components. So 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3. And it gets 1/3. If we duplicate this and add another control down here, it gets 1/4 of the space. And this effectively centers our 2 other buttons.
This is so nice fucking badly made.
We can also use to move these buttons down here. Because the label is nice with the mission, but I
you
would
need
like
2
to have
fucking empty controls to be in expand fill. On the left and the right, it's to fucking center the.
And now we want to set its layout to expand. There's also a second place where you can set this, which is up here. So we want to vertically expand it. So if you don't want to click here, you can also set it up here. So now this expands, and it takes all the space it can get. All the other controls take the space that they need, and this spacer control, which we can also maybe name spacer. It's always a good idea to rename your nodes so you know what they do. So spacer 2, and the spacer control will grow and shrink depending on how much space is available. So if I make this really small, there's no more space, so it will be really small. But if I make it bigger, it will automatically grow and push the buttons down. So we have now made our UI much better by using containers to automatically lay out our controls. But there's still a problem. If I run this, and if I change the size of my window, the UI does not what I would like. The first problem is that this thing should always be in the upper right corner, no matter how I change this window size. And also I would like this to always be in the center, no matter how I change my window size. And we can do this with anchors. If you look at this panel container up here, which I have selected, you can see there's these little pins up here. And these pins tell where this container is anchored to. So right now it is anchored to the upper left corner of the screen. So when I move it, the position is always relative to the upper left corner of the screen. So what we want to do is we want to anchor it to the top right corner of the screen. And we can do this up here by choosing an anchor preset. And you see there's a lot of presets already there. We want to choose top right. And now these pins are in the upper right corner. And now it's anchored to the upper right. So if I now move this and I run the scene, you can see that it's now moving with the upper right corner of the screen automatically. And the same way, we can anchor this panel container here. So we can say we want to anchor this to the center. So if we run the game, then the mission container is nicely centered no matter how we resize the window. We're almost done, but there's still one problem to solve. And we can see the problem when we make the window smaller. If a player only has a small resolution, then everything gets squished together or cut off, and that is not what we want. What we want is that this scales with the resolution of the player. And we can set this up in the project settings. So we go to Project Settings, Window, and we maybe disable these advanced settings because we don't need them anymore. And the interesting part is the stretch mode. This controls how the game is scaling. Right now it's set to disabled, which produces what we just saw. So let's try something different. We have a few options here. We have disabled, we have canvas items, and we have viewport. And if we hover over this mode, we get a little explanation. So disabled, we already know it doesn't work, so we don't look at this anymore. So we have canvas items or viewport. And for canvas items, it says the base size specified in width and height in the project settings is stretched to cover the whole screen, which sounds a lot like what we want. We want this base size to be stretched to cover the whole screen. Okay, so let's use that. And now let's make it smaller. That is a lot better. You see that it just scales the game up and down, and it does not push our components together. So maybe we make it big, and you see if you have a huge resolution like this 4K here, then you get to use this resolution. Everything is crisp and automatically scaled up the right way. However, you can see that we have a bit of black bars. If we go to widescreen, we get pillar boxes on the left and the right, and if we scale down the other way, we get letterboxes on the top and the bottom, which we don't want. So we're not fully done yet. So let's go into the project settings, and we have a look at this other setting here, which is called aspect. Right now it's set to keep. I don't want to keep this aspect. I just want it to adapt to the aspect. So let's try ignore. Let's see what that does.
Well, it's going to be bad.
Okay, that is not good. Now it looks like jelly. So yeah, it ignores the aspect. So we actually want to keep the aspect, but we want to grow. We want to use the extra space that we have. It should just show more of the game world. So let's look again at the project settings. Let's try the next one, keep width. Let's see what that is doing. Let's move to the right. Oh, we still seem to have black bars. What happens if we move to the other way? Okay, that looks more like it. So you see vertically, it already uses more space here if we have more space. So the UI stays the same, but we show more of the game world. But horizontally, we still get the black bars. Okay.
That's cheating.
So we have keep height, which will probably work the other way around. So let's try expand. Yeah, that looks more like it. So if we have more space horizontally, it will grow horizontally. You see the dialog stays in the middle. We just get more room left and right. And this also stays in the top right corner the way it should be. So that is great. And if we go the other direction, yeah, it also works the same. You know, our backdrop ends here, but it doesn't really matter. So this is what we want. In this video, we have learned how we can make a game user interface with Godot. We learned that we can use controls to represent UI elements.
I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Where is my... Here. This? The fuck? He literally just fucking stole the video. Stole the sound. Actually, no, the entire video. Alright, whatever. What do we need to work on? Trello. Vicmad Games. Énorme. Énorme. Gigantesque. GameStat, né. Ouais, alors ça, I'm gonna have problems with that, not gonna lie. Interface ville à faire, au clic droit, on va produire une fenêtre style pop-up qui s'affiche au-dessus de tout. La production de la ville, ainsi que ce qu'elle est en train de produire, en plus de la population actuelle. Devoir travailler plus en profondeur les villes, il n'y a rien sur les villes, on a nada. It's empty. Although I need to know civilization 1. How did it work to to select a city.
It's fast, but let's play. Some settlers in Moscow. So we have another city on the way.
Fuck.
I think until we get a granary, I think I'm just gonna build this.
Like, I guess for now, this I don't care. This either. This either. This I need. This I need. This, for now I don't care. It seems like to be a kind of a headache, I'm not gonna lie. This I need. And this I'm gonna guess I need, but maybe. Actually, for now, no. Like there's not gonna be resources or whatever. It's just gonna be a city. You click on it. This pops up with a name. I don't care about population. This is gonna be a placeholder. And this I needed to... Wait, how? I didn't even see there was a buy button. So you could buy... Did you have money?
Quite as fast, but I think in the long run it'd be nicer to have
Oh yeah,
cities.
139. I still don't know how they access
We're gonna build another town.
cities though.
This area pretty much. We can put one over here. That's what I was thinking before. These will overlap one square, which isn't too big a deal. We can put fish and split right here. That way we get both fish.
Also, I'm probably gonna need to be able to move the camera, because right now if I'm on this guy, I can do anything. I can just move and build a city. But what if I want to go see what's happening? Cannot. Also, I have to kick all these, have to make it just full black. Enlever la grille sur W. And I said, so this, oh yeah, need to be able to control camera with mouse, mouth, no, with keyboard arrows. I have no idea how to code that though. Like none. Not even the slightest
Map making.
little idea. Yeah, when you create a city, you need to be able to call it in certain type, certain name. Ask nom de ville. What if you fuck up? What if you fuck up and
Fishland.
like you put the wrong name? Cannot rename it. So when you changed it, it reloaded. To display the thing here.
Actually, I'm going to send one of Moscow's phalanx down here to Smolensk. Just make sure barbarians don't show up by day again.
Oh, it has a black border if there is a unit in it.
More settlers. Yeah. We're gonna do a granary now. We're down to
Count tour, what the fuck?
build up a bit before we start. And I wonder if I should build a city or if I have room for another city because everything's gonna be kind of crammed. So I can stick one over here.
We are not seeing shit, brother. Oh.
It's kind of a ways up. It's a long ways up there. But I wonder if I should sneak by them and go start building up there.
So you could actually click on the tile for it to see what it did. The fish icon.
I wonder if I should slowly build up that way or stick one up there now and then kind of look my back, but it could cut me off, so I think I will go over here first. Maybe here, so we have the fish first. Hill. That's what I'll do. Yep. Irrigating, which is what I probably should be doing.
Alright. Yeah, the problem here is that I cannot even. Oh, I was gonna say I cannot even know where my city is. So when you go in a city, it has to do something, but I don't know what I'm gonna do about this. That's gonna be painful. That's gonna be very painful. I'm probably gonna need the layout type thing. Make a new scene. Poste utilisateur, city, scene layout. Okay, so what do we want? It's gonna be painful. City's gonna need a script to deal with all that shit. What do we need? That's always my problem. I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea what I want to do. Panel container. Okay, what did he use just for that? Panel container with a canvas layer. So you need the canvas layer. Wait. Shouldn't the canvas layer be on top? I don't know. Let's try like that. Whatever. Panel container, panel container, panel container. So we kinda need it. I mean, we kinda need the entire space though. I guess. Trying to understand what I want to do with it. Because I probably want not the entire space actually. What if this is the new unit type thingy, whatever? Because you need a panel container for each things, no? guess. So inside it, I want, what do I want? Want a button. Change. So the button takes the entire space for some reason. Yeah. Takes the entire fucking flat. Wait, why does it do that though? Because of the field property, okay. There's the change. Do we... So let's say this is the unit panel. This is the change button. So this is gonna have to... So city is gonna need production. Point production, unité, bâtiment, production. Pop nourriture, point de vie. What about no health? So whenever you are attacked, if there is no unit in it, it's done. La vie qu'elle va devoir remonter sa production, population, etc. en fonction des points qu'elle possède actuellement. That's gonna be so fucking complicated to do. Holy brother. I'm making a Civilization 1 clone, which is painful. Change button, I need the unit here. Which means I need production points, which means it has to calculate the production points. What if I give it just a fixed number to start? Like, nobody cares. 'Cause every city is gonna need one. Layout city. Scripts. Yeah, sure. Production, let's say 2. What do we need more? Population, nourriture. I mean, I'm gonna need food, yeah, but for now, let's see, it's not very useful. Can't I have... No, I cannot. So unit and buildings are gonna need costs. So where do I keep that? Do I keep that in the city or do I keep that somewhere else? We're making a settler. Wait, let's just make it hard coded for now. Settlers needed prod. Those fucking names are so bad. Let's see, it needs 6.
Giuro.
Ciao. Ciao.
Angriest ciao ever.
Angriest?
I don't know.
The fuck? Come stai?
Bene. Come stai?
Bene.
Che fai?
Coding. Trying to make the Italian accent. Coding.
Je suis coding.
Je suis en train de coder. Codingo. Coding. Wait.
I mean, I don't think we say. I think we say just programmare.
Hey yo, nice.
Like you have a codice if you are talking about the code, but yeah, I don't think we have a verb for coding.
What about you? What are you doing? Oh, fuck. Je sais pas.
Niente. Niente.
Niente. Nada.
Rien.
So if you're making it now, it has to be changing it. Like change a queue. If you change a queue with the unit or the building, it's gonna ask how much prod it needs. But then how do you keep track of that? Fuck. Complicated.
Complicato. How do you say it in French? Compliqué.
Exactly.
Oh, really?
Compliqué.
Nice. See, French is easy.
Yeah, not Italian. Oh, yeah. It's gonna have to, like, at each end of turn, it's gonna have to.
C'est compliqué.
Cities. C'est très compliqué. So the world at these units gonna have to process cities. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I'm going, but I'm going. It's gonna be such a mess. Holy fucking hell. Like, I have literally no idea what I'm doing.
Non sai cosa stai facendo.
Same. I didn't understand.
I said you don't know what you are doing.
Indeed.
Non sai cosa stai facendo.
Okay, got it. So this, okay. So what does process cities has to do? For each cities, so I'm gonna put cities in a group. Let's say city. So each city is gonna have to have a production anyway. Whatever is happening, it's gonna have to have a production. For city in get tree, get nodes in group city.
Ma solo
What the fuck?
solo se non è un problema, se non è un casino. Sul tavolo il pranzo di Babette, bisogna togliere il nome Agnesi, perché ha problemi di...
Agnese.
Wait, was she talking normal speed?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Seems like a .2.
Ah, she was very fast indeed.
Allora,
Allora.
no, ma solo se non è
Solo,
un
solo,
problema,
solo,
se non è un casino. Sul tavolo il pranzo di Babette, bisogna togliere il nome
Di
Agnesi,
Babette?
perché ha problemi di salute e quindi non verrà. O meglio, il papà che sta male e non viene. Quindi direi se riuscite a toglierlo, bene, altrimenti va benissimo così. Io comunque lo dico io, dove ci sarà un posto in meno. E tranquilli.
Oh, I also have to get paid.
Get paid. That'd be a good good idea. Yeah. If I can write a language,
One thing at a time. I have this problem that when I'm doing something, like before finishing that thing, I remember that I have to do also another thing. So I change focus. I'm like, oh fuck, I also have to do these things that is very urgent. And I feel the urge to switch, but that way I'm not gonna finish what I was doing in the beginning.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I actually have the same problem with the game dev.
That's
You have to
problem.
make a list every time you find a new thing to do, and keep it in a queue. You know.
Yeah, but yeah. Mi certo. Mi certo.
So do you use a signal? If you use a signal to tell the world, you may do to make a unit. Maybe. If I can use emit signal. Or I do it directly in the cities. I have no idea what I'm doing. Actually, none.
Make a step back.
What the fuck am I doing? Produce unit does that. So here I'm gonna need a unit. Here. The problem just comes from what data design is the best. Data model, whatever it's called. I don't know if the city should manage units or the world or something else. Where do I store information?
If I do a list though, it gets too long. Because I keep adding things.
Yeah, but isn't it just an impression?
I mean,
Because even if you keep adding things, you at least you keep track of it. You know, if you keep adding things in your
Yeah.
head, it's kind of the same, but you just don't know.
Yeah, I know. I'm just kidding. It's just that now I'm making a list and I keep remembering things like, yeah, I also have to do this.
Well, then you have to reorganize them in order of importance.
Yeah, they already are. Basically, yes. The thing that I don't actively remember are the things that are less important.
I see. Mm. If I have a position map, then it should use it.
Right. For now, I think it's fine.
I don't remember at all how signals work.
It's fun because that guy I hate asked me like last week or something. Remember when I sent it? Yeah, Monday. Last week asked me for like a recap of all the things I did for that event. That was a lot. And I told him, yo, tell me if it's alright so I can send you an invoice. He didn't answer.
Unlucky.
Hmm?
C'était unlucky.
Oh.
Yeah, remember that though.
Yeah. I think on Monday I'll for answer because I would really like to have this money.
Yeah, alright, tell me about it.
allegato il file corretto.
I'm gonna have to go back, go talk to him again. Yo, my dude, money. Give money.
Yeah.
That is not good.
I know. But I'll get those money, don't worry. Ciao Cri, ho già fatto la modifica e l'ho inviata alla 3x3, quindi è già tutto... no.
Alright.
I always make voice message like 3 times before I do that.
Nice.
Ciao Cri, ho fatto la modifica al tableau e l'ho già inviata alla 3x3. Ok.
Wait, oh, for fuck's sake, I'm so lost.
Alright, so this is done. Then, let me see. but I did it differently. Sure.
Yeah, but then why do I need a fucking signal? That's the problem. That's the thing I don't get. Actually, maybe not. Maybe I just don't need a signal. Like maybe whenever this happens, I'm just doing.
Oh,
Seriously,
here.
he's gonna process queue.
No, micettina, non puoi rubarmi il posto. Appena me ne vado. Mm?
Print.
How do you say to steal in French?
Volley. Like to fly.
Oh.
Aye.
Voler.
Volley.
Why?
I don't know. Fuck, how is it gonna work if there is no CDs? Wait, what the fuck, it's a preload. Wait, Saka's in trouble? Ah. Oh. Wait, actually, I just realized. Fuck, it's much more complicated than I thought. Because the world is only, yeah, in group units. Is it in a group unit or no? How do I know? Can I see groups? One, three, 1, 3. Oh my fucking god. New city. fuck is that? Music holy, what? You don't? Do not? Wait, but yeah, it has to be in units. It has to. So how do I do that? New unit. Add a child. The easiest way would be to get the world. Then you do world dot get node receive name dot a child unit. Would that work? So here I made a new city. The city is here. Okay. I'm playing. There's a new settler. Okay, it's inside it, but not in units. It needs to be receive name. Get node units. It doesn't have a sprite. Wait, why doesn't it have a sprite though? Oh, it does. It's just the modulate is all fucked. Huh. so bad. What the fuck is happening? If you have the right sieve color, why the fuck?
All right. I do not fucking get it. Why is it all black? What's happening with that shit? Because the sieve color here is black for some reason.
Still black though.
Right, let's do this chow gun. Um, voleva prima di tutto farvi auguri di vederci a Milano.
God bless, I fixed it. I fixed it. Holy. I'm gonna cry.
Did you?
That was so bad. Just for one line. Although for now it's brut. Okay. Do you still hear me?
Yeah,
The hell?
I never stopped.
The fuck is happening? Okay, okay. Now I'm gonna have to be able to select something, and that's gonna be another problem. Also, the cities have no name. She's pretty bad. Ouch. So now I can play with a settler who has 2 moves, explorer who has 4 moves. There is a rotation of selection. If the settler wants to make a city, click B, makes a city. The city is building an explorer in 3 turns. When the explorer is done, it can go out. Yeah, I have internet connection problems, I think.
Unlucky.
It's either that or it's YouTube that's lagging.
I don't know. I hear you normally.
Yeah, I don't seem to have any packets loss, but I don't know what the fuck YouTube is doing. To be entirely honest, I don't know. I need to be able to click on the city, like click on the fucking city. Which doesn't work for now. Yeah, let's use, what was it? Photopia. Photopea. Where is it? Here's right. You have to kick all of this. And register. What about now? Okay, I like it. I like it very much. How do I say enlever? Stripped. Greed from Fog of War, I guess. I don't know. It's gonna have so much to think about and do. Rip. Also, wait. Don't get. Where the fuck are my units? 64 by 64, but my tiles 32 by 32. Why did I do that? Oof. Please do have a click. Please have a click. Let's try that like this.
Cute.
Cute indeed. Wait, how? Oh, wait, button index.
Brochure.
Okay, it works. The click works. So I guess that's good. What do I do now? What the fuck do I do now? From where? I don't fucking know. World, I guess. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck's happening with YouTube, but it's pretty bad.
Oh, micetta.
Micetta.
Aspetta.
Putain, la sortie en dessous. Je vois. Oui, voilà. C'est le bordel. Oh. Wait, how do... Oh. It's so fucking ugly. I cannot... you know what? I don't care for now. I do not care. Holy fucking... Okay. Okay, it's even worse. Even worse. What the fuck just happened? it fucked up the entire. Okay. I guess it's a good first thing. Huh? It's a good start.